Good morning. It's Saturday, November 16th, and the European Union has opened the door to membership talks with the Ukraine on Thursday. And this is a move that President Vladimir Zelensky called a victory for all of Europe. Now, Ukraine has been trying to get into the Union for a long time. Officially, they're waiting over 2 years. But prior to that, for many years prior to that, there was ambition to get into the European Union, but they really didn't do anything about it. So I asked myself, what am I talking about here? And I think the important thing that I should consider is telling you as much as I can find out in a short period of time about the European Union. So right now, it consists of 27 nations. They are known as member states, and they are located primarily in Europe. And the Union has a total area of about 4.2 million kilometers or something like that, which is about 1.6 million square miles. And it covers a population of about 450 million people. And it has often been described as a ubiquitous political entity without any precedent or comparison. And it combines the characteristics of both a federation and a confederation, whatever that really means. But basically, it contains about 6% of the world's population. That's as of 2020. And it generated approximately $16.6 trillion of gross domestic product. And that sounds like a lot of money, but that's spread across 27 different countries. So that's about 1/6 of the global nominal GDP, and the third biggest global economy after the United States and China. So this is no small organization. The Union was formally established in 1993, but its beginnings can be traced to a group of founding nations known as the Inner Six: Belgium, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and West Germany. And that started with the European integration of 1948, which formerly had been called the Western Union. It had several different names when it started out. There were several treaties that took place that helped the size of the EU increase. And it finally reached the current state of affairs in 2013. In 2012, the European Union was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. And as I told you, right now it's 27 nations, even though if you were doing arithmetic, you recognize that at some point there were 28 nations. But the United Kingdom became the only member state to leave the European Union in 2020. And 10 countries are negotiating or aspiring to join the European Union. And that's in addition to the Ukraine. As far as the politics of the European Union are concerned, they say that they should only act within the limits of the permissions conferred upon it by certain treaties. So it says it will only act if an objective cannot be sufficiently achieved by the member states acting alone. So basically, the European Union is set up as a confederation of sorts, but the individual states are still responsible for their own actions in many, many cases. When the European Union comes up with some policy, it's then implemented by the states according to the way they feel about it, and not necessarily tied to everything that the European Union says, but it's expected that most of the member states will participate in whatever is good for the whole European Union. And there are special interest groups that do lobby at the European Union level, hoping that the European Union will come to some agreement with them, and then the member states will somehow or other take action in according with what the European Union has come to. Basically, in my reading of the European Union and its rules, it's a guideline for the member states to behave a certain way, and there are rules and regulations that the member states have to abide by. But the overall situation that I get, the overall impression that I get, is that the member states are still responsible for what they do. And in many cases, while there are situations that might require some additional help, the European Union is not set up to jump right in and help right away. They expect the member states to take care of their own business, but they are a protective organization. If they have to get together and side with the member state, they probably would do that. But so, if you have a situation that the Ukraine is in, where it finds itself with Western states and allies that are faltering in their support for the Ukraine, that could create some long-term obstacles that not only will cause the Ukraine problems, but it might cause the European Union problems if they accept the Ukraine into its membership. So it's going to take Ukraine a long time. They must undergo a rigorous process to ensure economic stability and a functioning democracy to get into the European Union. The European Union does not accept dictatorships and people like that. They are looking for democracies to join. So the UK was accepted as the European Union candidate 2 years ago, but its ambitions have been blocked for a long time. Ukraine has several problems that will affect membership. It has a very large population, larger than any other EU member has. It doesn't make much money. Its GDP is less than a third of what the average EU member has. So they have a money problem, they have a population problem, but they are an agricultural powerhouse, and that could help with the admissions. But the fact that they have many, many poor people is something that the members of the EU are not happy about. Because when EU membership was granted to Poland, a lot of Polish workers took off and ran to Britain and some other EU countries where they could earn a better living. And I am sure those invaders, I will call them invaders, when they got to these other countries, they affected the workloads and everything of what's going on with the regular, ordinary population that existed before their membership in the European Union. So I think there may be many nations that will be very reluctant to add a poor nation into the European Union Confederation, so to speak, because of their experience with other poor nations that they have admitted. And so maybe before Ukraine is going to get in, they're going to have to increase and strengthen their economy, because their poor economy could and probably would affect the economies of the member nations. It could affect the economies of other member nations and affect the people who live in those other member nations. If you're poor, those who are wealthy don't have to help you all the time. Have a great day. Bye.